Okay, so we were in day 2 of our trip to Dubrovnik. Sun's shining. It was supposed to be raining and chucking down, but actually clearly you can see it's not that. The sun's shining. And what we've done so far, we've had breakfast and we've also got some tickets for the Dubrovnik Symphony Orchestra concert tomorrow, which is a masterclass, conductor's masterclass, so that should be fun. There's about 11 conductors all going through various pieces of music, and they've opened it up to the public. So that was a bit of a result. So we're going to go and see that tomorrow. And now we're walking through the gate, heading for the cable car. And there's a bit of door porn, as my wife calls it, because I get excited about doors. And you can see the counterweights on this one. And obviously, at some point, that was linked to that. Ooh. And as you can see, there is a road access to it, so we're going across the old moat. Yeah, quite impressive. You don't often see stuff like that, actually. It's quite nice. Obviously not working. So now we're going to be heading up to the cable car, which, if we can get up there before midday, which shouldn't be a problem. About midday, they're supposed to, clouds are coming in, and we're supposed to be having a bit of lightning. So don't want to be on a cable car when it's lightning bolts coming down. So we're going to get up there and do it in the morning. And if the rain really does come in about midday, we'll find a bar to have a little drink and watch the rain come down. And then this afternoon the sun will come out again, so it's going to be one of those changeable days. So we are kitted out for it. We've got rain gear on, just in case, but when you're on holiday you just get on with it, don't you? Otherwise you're sitting in your hotel room doing nothing. There's plenty to see. But the rain's not going to stop us today. We are going to do our stuff. The top of the cable car, and you can see right at the top, and then the view of the city, the old city, down at the bottom. And we had pictures of that going the other way, where I said there was that massive tower for mobile phone tower, and then the old city, and then the new city of Dubrovnik going over to the marina on the other side. According to the touristy book, 43,000 people live in Dubrovnik. And after this, we're going to go and see a little museum about the Homeland War. They call it the Homeland War because, of course, in the early 90s, Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina were having a bit of a conflict. And Dubrovnik was besieged. And Dubrovnik was attacked, it was mortared. I think there was quite a few people killed, sadly. And if certainly the attacking force were this high up, then it doesn't matter how strong your walls are with modern weapons, you're going to be receiving some munitions down below. It's the way of the world, sadly, and conflict. But as you can see, if any attacking force coming up from here, they'd have to get up to this point. So if the Croatians were defending this line, so anything coming off there, you'd have to have artillery up on the top. So this is the Imperial Fort, and we've just done the museum tour of the Homeland War. So that happened in '91 when the Serbs and Montenegrins attacked Croatia, which wasn't a great time really for European history, and seems to be repeating itself sadly in Ukraine. But we've just read quite a lot of information about it, so we've got information overload at the moment. But basically the whole of Dubrovnik suffered during the war, and was bombed from the sea and from the land, and 14,000 people were killed and many thousands wounded. It's quite sad, really. And this fort was one on the defensive line, the attack from that area, which, as I mentioned earlier on, would be the place. So along here probably looks like a bit of a killing ground, sadly. This fort was built by the French after Napoleon landed here, so it's certainly well built. And we'll go down and have a look at it. At the moment it's a museum, as I said before, it's a museum, and it's divided into various rooms, which were probably quarters for the soldiers at the time, but Croatian Defence Force used it during the war as an HQ. Obviously it's in a bit of a sorry state at the moment. But you can see lots of information, and certainly enough time to read it all. But on this side was quite significant because all the pictures of what Dubrovnik went through during the war. Some great photography, well, historic photography of the time. And bearing in mind we're walking around here at the moment and seeing all these beautiful sites which which have all been rebuilt. It's quite poignant, really. So although there's no English translation, we've been into another room where shows you the sites where major damage was caused to the old city at these points. And of course from this side onwards was Dubrovnik New Town. And in 1979 it was made a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's quite poignant that in the 90s it was then destroyed, or partially destroyed. Okay, so we're now going to head back to the cable car and pop down to the old town again while the sun's still shining. But it certainly didn't say it was going to be like this today. It was going to be all rain, wasn't it? Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we've done very well.
We've done very well.
That sky doesn't look rainy at the moment.
No, it's really nice. Oh, you can do a buggy tour, yeah. I think we'll give that a miss, although it does look fun.
It does look quite fun, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that okay, yes,
I think I'm tempted. How much is it? Let's go have a look. Let's have a look. Could be a bit wet out there, though. So here we are on our safari tour. Yeah, really good. It's a good look, isn't it? I think Anne described it as being in a condom. So we, as you see, we couldn't get away from being on a motorbikey type thing like wheels, and we saw this opportunity to do this off-road adventure, and that's what we've done. So apparently we're going along the coast about 35 minutes, and we're going along the coastline, and we'll be stopping and seeing sights along
glasses on as well. They're really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to put these on. Yeah, not a
Very
good look.
safe.
Not a good look. So they're definitely coming up. I won't be pulling any wheelies anyway, so it'll be good.
I don't really think you could anyway.
Driving now. And I've taken my condom off.
But yeah, me. We took my Femi's on off.
But yeah, we've just stopped at a memorial, I suppose a memorial site, because this is all the defence line for Croatian troops against the Serbs. And there's obviously a few people who were killed. So they've got memorials along this track, and now we're sort of doing a round robin heading back. It's only about half an hour. Good fun though.
You have the time of your life every single night. The confetti's raining down. You put your hands to the sky, center of the crowd. You're the talk of the town. I tell myself I don't want that. What glitters isn't gold. I tell myself I don't need it, 'cause I'm fine on my own. But I hate being on the outside looking through a window. I say I don't want it, but I'm so full of it. I wanna be the life of the party. I wanna dance with somebody. Be ooh, 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 ooh. I wanna be the life of the party. Don't wanna hold on to somebody. Be cool, 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 cool. Living your life through a lens, perfect pretending. You think no one can tell, but everything's just fake. Now you're becoming the person you once hated. You also used to say that. I tell myself I don't want that. What glitters isn't gold. I tell myself I don't need it, 'cause I'm fine on my own. But I hate being on the outside looking through a window. I say I don't want it, but I'm so full of it. I wanna be the life of the party. I wanna dance.
So we have come down to outside the city walls to the bay, and in the previous videos you would have seen we were actually up there looking across this way to that. Now this is the tricky bit, because it's a bit windy, and as you can see we've got to get past that over there. So we've got to time it really well, otherwise we're going to get pretty wet. So as long as your man there doesn't get in my way, I should be able to do it across. So is it something like 7 waves, isn't it? I'll wait for that one. There you go. there someone in there? I don't know. Yeah. I get more steps. Can't say that we're not getting our exercise, that's for sure. Which is great because it means you can drink more beer and cider. We've been rain dodging all day, in fairness. Just about 12 o'clock there was a massive thunderstorm, lightning storm. Guess what we were doing? Eating and drinking. So we were up there this morning. So if you haven't guessed it by now, the Dalmatian coast is full of these little, wonderful little bays. But when the sea's up and it's pretty rough, you're not going to go out kayaking in that. But I would imagine come July and August, when the temperature's up to about 25 C, that'll all be lovely and calm. Anyway, we're heading up there.
You can never sleep in traffic. There's living steady panic. I know 'cause I try acid. Now I see through your habits, just like gadgets. You tell me with the two hands, I'm too bad. Wonder what you think's I like. Need me to get your bills paid. That's what you said. I guess I'm just too fake for that. So sit down, listen, think for a minute. Know it might be hard 'cause you're uneducated. Break down, face it, breathe for a minute.
Yeah, that's a pretty spectacular coastline though, isn't it? I'm just thinking maybe, if you can imagine, I mean, this was all in place in the 1400s, 15th century. And you can imagine just sailing here and seeing that for the first time. Maybe that would have been quite impressive, especially more steps to come down. So we've walked into Dubrovnic, or new town I suppose, or town proper, and we're now in the marina area. This is where the cruise ships come in from the Adriatic and presumably dump all their passengers, stick them onto a coach and then take them to the walled city or the old city. Certainly plenty of boat trips available. The only thing I will say, if you're thinking of coming to Dubrovnik, is that it is very hilly. There are lots of steps and the pavements are narrow. I'll say no more. Doesn't mention that in the guidebooks, and of course why would it? But if you have a plan and you're able to get here, then it's fine. if you're a budding pirate, clearly Dubrovnik is the place to come. You can spend time up in the crow's nest. So bring your peg leg and your patch and your parrot, and you can board the Caracca. I'm thinking that's more geared towards pina coladas than pieces of 8. A few drunken parties on that one.